Well, hello everyone. It's Tuesday the 12th of January and you're in my vegetable garden. Well, welcome back everyone. I've decided just to make a little video. I'm on holiday with the bad weather and everything. I've got a bit of time on my hands, so I thought of a little job I can do. Basically, I popped into Wilco's and I was looking around the gardening area just to see if there's any bargains or anything, things like sweet potatoes and what have you. I didn't buy any. They had some varieties in, but I'm really going to concentrate on Sammo, Miras and Charlotte's for my earlies. So they didn't have them in, so I'm going to leave that for a little while. But while I was there, I found something that I thought would be useful at this time of the year, because you don't put really anything in my pots at this time of year. Now's the time to treat them, to get them ready for this year, but the next growing season, as it were. And there's two things you need to sort of look at. First is the fertiliser, and incorporating fertilisers into the soil and get it rich and ready for the next growing season. And the other thing is checking its pH, which, if you're growing in pots, is very, very important, because they're grown in a contained area. Nutrients from the surrounding soil can't sort of leach in and make a good soil. Basically, you've got to add it yourself. And I've been doing this a couple of years, and most things are, well, you can see from what I've harvested this year, I do alright. So at the moment, what I'm going to do is check my pH of the soils, because if I find that they need some lime, I can add it now and it can get wetted into the soil and get incorporated into the soil and affect it. And of course give us chances to add more if I need it, and just get it absolutely spot on. Because for most vegetables, and there's always exceptions, but most vegetables you need aim around about the 6-7 pH area. As I say, some like it slightly more acidic, some like it's slightly alkaline. But 6-7 is about what you're looking for in your pots. So, as I say, I thought I'd make a little video of me checking my pots, and you can see what state they're in. So, the best thing you can ever get if you grow in pots and you're doing a lot of pH checking is don't get the little soil test kits. They're way too expensive, and of course you have to do it for every pot. And if you're like me and you've got 20 plus pots, you'll go through a 20 test kit all in one go. So what I would suggest is you spend something ridiculous like I did today, a whole £4, and get one of them. and this one cost us £4 in Wilko's, and I've had one before, and the pH has gone on it. They don't last forever, but for £4 you can't ask for much. And one of these, it does the trick for what I need. This one is even better than the last one I had, because the last one I had, it checked for moisture and for pH. This one actually checks for light intensity as well, so it's even better. You can see how much light things are getting. But for the purposes of this video, it's for the pH, and I don't know if you can see it, it's got a scale there and 3 switches in the bottom, one for pH, one for moisture, one for light. So I'll go through a few pots and you can see what state they're in, and then I'll show you what I do to correct it if it needs correcting. So let's go. Right, so for the purposes of this video, I'll not go through all the pots. I'll just show you a few, and we'll take it from there. So we'll start over here. I've got a few empty pots here, and I can show you how we get on. So my meter's there, so flick it over to the pH, and if you look there, to the left it says alkaline, to the right it's acidic. So you're looking for around about 7, 6 and 7. That's what I'm aiming for. So basically it's as difficult as sticking it right in. Give it a couple of seconds to sort of test the soil, and I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see the reading. There you go. So as you can see, that one is, I would say, a bang on 7. It's not moving, so I'm quite happy that that soil there is pH 7, spot on. So what I'll do is I'll go through a few pots and I'll show you what it is. So there's another one. That one I would say is about 6.5. More than happy with that. As I said, these are not accurate. I've seen videos on YouTube where they use digital ones and they'll be more accurate. But for me, I mean, these professional ones, you can spend £10, £20 on them. And yeah, if you want to be sort of professional, as it were, and if it's your business to grow veg and you want to be more accurate about these things, then by all means spend the money if you want. But for me, like a lot of people these days, financially, they're on budgets and what have you, and this £4 and it's accurate enough for me. So yeah, so that is 6.5, so I'm quite happy with that, so that's okay. Zoom back out. Try this one. Stick them in and have a look. Again, zoom in, and I'll do it slowly. Again, there. He's slightly more to the 6. So I might add a little bit of lime to this one, just a smidgen. But yeah. Now, zoom back. Remove the soil, always. Right. Now this one, I've had beetroot in. And in either my last video or the one before that, I pulled up my beetroot because I planted some beetroot in here after having something else in, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like a second crop in this pot, and I put them in the grew, leaves, wonderful, but they didn't really grow the beetroot, the actual beet itself. And I thought it was because I planted them in here because it was too late and they just didn't have a time to grow the leaves and then produce the beet at the root. And that's what I explained to one of my viewers. But as I say, I got this and stick it in. So I'll zoom back out. So I thought it was because I planted these too late. But after using this, and I'll zoom in now. Oops, a little bit too far. There you go. The pH of this soil. And you, as I say, you got to give it, a few seconds and what have you. There you go. So where has it gone? So yeah. So you got to give it a few seconds for it to settle, to look at the pH and everything. And as you can see, that is still dropping. As I say, you can't be precise with this, but it is a rough, and I think quite a good rough estimate to it. And there you go. If you look at that now, the pH of this soil is about 4.5, which was way too acidic. So I need to add quite a lot of lime to this pot to bring it back up. And as you can see, it's still very slowly moving down. But yeah, you're looking at about 4.5, which is way too acidic. And again, just to show you, it's not a dodgy bit of kit. Stick it in this one. And again, zoom in. There you go. Bang on 7. So, and it's not moving. So yeah, 7 on that one. And then I'll go back to this one again, just to show you. There's a fluke, that low pH. Zoom in, and there you go. It's 5 at the moment, and the fella is slowly dropping as it's testing away, and yeah, it's going back down to 4.5. So you can see how important it is to check the pH of these pots if you grow it in pots. As I say, grown directly in the soil, in the ground, is a little bit more forgiving, because as I say, nutrients and all the minerals and everything in the soil, if this was the ground, they would sort of leach in as the vegetable takes them out of the ground. Others would just leach in by diffusion, and you wouldn't get as severe change in pH as you would here. But in pots, it's absolutely vital that you do check the pH. And as I say, this, you can just stick it in every single pot you've got, no matter how many you've got. And this, if you got this, it will cost you £4, and it would probably last you a few years. Even if it had lasted you 1 year, £4, you'd pay that way more than that for a pH testing kit. And a case of this doesn't just do pH, and I'll just zoom in, there you go. There you are, it's back down to about 4.5. So, and things like flick it onto the light, and it's a very dull, well, it's coming up to about 3 o'clock now, so the sun's starting to go down, and you can see there it's registering at about 100 lumens. And the other thing this does is the moisture, and as you can see, it says it's dry on the left, absolutely soaking wet on the right. And this pot is outside. It's been raining for about 3 weeks, almost constantly, and as you can see, it's telling me that this soil is absolutely soaking wet. I'll just show you. That's the one I use. Arthur Bowers Garden Lime Soil Acidity Regulator. Neutralises excess soil acidity. And as I say, got that. As I say, I just sprinkle it on. Use the instructions on the back. It tells you how to use it and how much to use. Hopefully that'll bring the pH back up. What I'll do is, if you remember this pot, what I'll do is I'll put some lime in it and give it a couple of weeks, and then I'll look at it again and decide whether or not it needs some more lime or not. But I'll show you that in a future video. I've tested all my pots. It literally, with that gadget, it takes about 5 minutes to go through all your pots, find out what the pH is, and as you can see, there's some like them that will bang on 7, don't need anything doing. That one was about 5, so I needed a bit more on that one. Not very little on that one, but I needed quite a bit on that one because that was around about 4. So I personally just sprinkle it on. We're getting enough rain, that'll get washed in, it'll leach into the soil, everything will be okay. So yeah, so that's me pH for this winter done, or at least part 1. As I say, I'll check on that guy later in case he needs a second application for next year, but hopefully the one will do. Basically, with the outside light at 2 o'clock, it was when I did a reading, it was barely registering 100 lumens or luxes, whatever that means. I know it's some sort of scale of light intensity, but relative to what I don't know. But that needle was barely moving with the light. So I'll stick it under here and I'll see if you can see. Now if I put that, I've got to do this with 2 hands, which isn't easy. There. Now it's pointing up. It's rough, well, a little bit higher than the soil level, but I cannot like lower it much more. But it's pointing straight up, and I don't know if you can make it out. I'm at an angle here, but that is reading 500. So it's getting 4 times roughly the intensity of light here than it is outdoors. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little video. As I say, I was in Wilko's, I saw the pH tester, I thought it's about time I need to do the check of all the pots, see what it's like. Most of them are okay, they don't need anything adding, but yeah, they do need checking. As I say, you can get the odd pot like I have, a rogue one that sort of is totally different to the others. I mean, I treat every pot the same, but obviously depending on what you're growing it, affects the condition of the soil after you harvest it. So you do need to check these things, certainly when you're growing in pots. So I'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting and informative. Any questions or any comments, obviously leave them down below, and I will do my best. Hopefully, fingers crossed, my internet problem has been sorted. As I say, I hope I'm back up and running, so I'll reply to any comments that you have as soon as I can. So I'll leave it there before it starts raining again. So see you later in my vegetable garden.